Can't get enough of Grandma's freshly made warm apple pie? Well, apple season's right around the corner. Baking a fresh apple pie will always satisfy that sweet tooth. Today, I'm going to show you to create your own apple pie for any occasion. First, you're going to need to make sure you have all your ingredients. For the pie crust, you're going to need 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cups of cold shortening or butter, and 1/4 cup of cold water. For the pie filling, you're going to need 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 5 medium-sized Granny Smith apples. Then you're going to need to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Then I started out with my crust. I sifted the flour using a sifter into dry measuring cups, and then I added it in a large bowl. After that, I added the salt, cold butter, and cold water into the same bowl. And I cut it up using a pastry cutter, or you can use 2 knives. Make sure your clumps are no bigger than your pinky nail. After that, I kneaded the dough together into one big clump, and then I divided it in half. 1/2 is for the top of the pie, and the other half is for the bottom of the pie. So I set 1/2 aside, and then I needed a flat surface, preferably a kitchen counter, just like this. And then I floured it just lightly, but enough so that the dough won't stick to the counter. And then I need to flour the top of the dough. And then I also floured the rolling pin. After that, you need to use your fists or your palms and make sure that your dough's flat, just like this. And continue adding flour just on the top of the dough. And when you roll it out, make sure you go from the center out. So when you're using the rolling pin, make sure you go from the center out like that to make it even around the edges. And the thickness of your dough should be about 1/8 of an inch thick. And when you're finished with this, make sure you slowly lift it from the counter just like this and add it onto your pie pan. And after that, you'll do the same thing with the other half of the dough, except you'll just leave it on the counter for now. And then I cut up the 5 apples. Well, first I peeled them, and then I cut it up using the apple cutter. You can use a knife if you like. And then they'll be about this size. After that, you're going to need to cut the apples another, let me say like 4 times, depending on the size. They should be no bigger than about this size. Then after that, I just moved the apples aside, and I added the sugar, cinnamon, and flour for the pie filling in a large bowl. And then I put all the apples in that same bowl, and I tossed it up. After that, you need to pour the tossed apples with cinnamon, sugar, and flour. You need to pour that into the dough that's already in your pie pan. And then you need to use that flattened dough, the top layer that's already on the counter. You need to move that and cover your apples. And then, pause it, stop it.